Welcome back for the Bushcraft. Just out on a little adventure today, and I'm sure you're as curious as I am to know whether a Tokes titanium twig stove can hold a candle to the Optimus Svea 123 in terms of boil times. I love both these stoves, so I'm going to remain as impartial as I possibly can. But for the sake of this test, I packed nice seasoned wood along. Mainly because it's like 5 degrees and it's been raining, and to try and get some of this going, I don't feel it would be a fair comparison. Say if it were summer and the twigs were all dry, then it would be a fair comparison. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the Toke stove first, mainly because I'm hungry. I haven't eaten yet today. And so, similar, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I did a little boil off competition between some 3 old vintage stoves that I have. And for the purpose of the test, this little cup here comes with the Svea. And so I'm gonna grab 2 cups, put it in the billy pot, and see how long it takes to boil. We'll set a timer and we'll see how long it takes to boil. Now what I'm going to do is make sure the fire is actually going and I know that the heat is there, and I'll do the same for the Svea. Aren't you curious? Let's get into it. Okay, we've got it set. So this is where you bring your minute hand. You bring your zero, put it to your minute hand, so that when it finally comes to a boil, the minute hand will tell you exactly where it's at. The reason why these only spin in one direction, in case you're not already aware, is for the purpose of scuba diving. If you accidentally knock it, it'll show that you have less air, where if it went both ways, you could accidentally knock it and think you might have more air in your tank. That's the whole purpose of the dial. Full boil. Without my glasses on, I'm calling that 9 minutes. 9 minutes to boil. That's actually surprising. I thought it would take longer. I made these things out of tent pegs. Whatever you do, don't ever buy the Tokes ones because they just melt. They're so junky. These tent pegs are holding on though, so it seems. Fresh cold water. Ready. Now, as it is with these old self-pressurizing units, something I like to do is give it a quick little preheat till I see, till I think a bit of pressure started. Oh yeah, got some fluid there. There we go. Pretty much just hit the start of that. There we go. Now, while I wait, this time I had some breakfast. 2 in the afternoon. Alright, about 15 seconds into the minute there. So what is that saying? I'd say that's more like 8 minutes. Beat it by a minute. Oops. Put that face down. No one will ever know. So what did we learn here about these two stoves? They're not that far apart in boil times. Here's a little trick. If you've been burning these Tokes for a while, get yourself a longer stick and just try and open up underneath there. Whoops, where are you going? Get some air through there. And then it should flame on. Now, for me, personally, I would say I would take the Tokes whenever possible. Sure, it takes a little longer. There's some little nuances to it. It burns hot though. I mean, it melts my aluminum steaks. It's not, and the Tokes titanium steaks, it's melted everything that I put on there, so it does burn hot. Well, as y'all know, I live in British Columbia. There's fuel everywhere. If you live in the desert, the titanium stove's not gonna maybe work for you. If you live in the Alpine and there's just no trees around whatsoever, I would probably just bring the Svea 123. I really like the fact that that little titanium stove will break down. I can fit 2 cups inside of it, plus a little twig catcher, fire go quick catcher kind of thing. And that all fits inside my little billy pot with the lid on, in the bag, and weighs absolutely nothing. Granted, I did carry this in my backpack, but again, that was mainly for the test. Here's another thing I like about these Toke stoves, is if you actually need to get a bigger fire going in wet weather, I will start this one first to get something going and use that to get a bigger fire going in wet weather. It works. You get that little vacuum up through there. It really depends on the application. For me, I feel like everywhere I go, I'm going to find twigs, and it doesn't take that long. And it also just gives me that practice. Gratitude to humankind for that discovery of fire, because without that discovery of fire, I don't know that we'd have electric vehicles on the road right now. They bring us light, they bring us heat, they can cook our food, they can create things just as easily as they can destroy. But maybe you don't carry an axe everywhere you go. But if you have a Leatherman, which maybe that's the thing you take when you're going lightweight packing into the Alpine, a Leatherman, if it has a little saw on it and a knife, it's pretty easy just to harvest sticks that'll work if you can't just gather them for some reason. Let me know if you are surprised by these results. I am giving the Tokes the win on this one, even though it took longer, because I was still able to keep cooking my breakfast. Now I've got a fire going while I'm drinking my tea. The stove does what it's supposed. The Svea 123 does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's going to boil you some water. It's going to make you food. It's going to give you what you need. But what I like about the Tokes is it not only gives you that, but it also gives me what I want. Do you agree? Thanks for coming along. If you like the video, there's that like button. Subscribe, comment. What do you think? What would you prefer to bring up into the wilderness with you? What are some alternative fuels you might use? Thanks for coming along.